everybody, and thanks for joining me for another review, the first review of 2022. And this is a fun review because this review I actually gave into your guys' hands. I put up a post asking you guys what you wanted me to review first, Hawkeye or Cobra Kai Season 4. And you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, the majority of you guys voted for Hawkeye. Which is actually very fitting that the last thing I watched in 2021 is the first thing I review in 2022. And without further ado, let's start discussing the newest MCU show to hit Disney+, Hawkeye. Alright, so with Hawkeye, you got Jeremy Renner returning as Clint Barton. Now that his family has been undusted by Thanos after missing those 5 years with them, he wants nothing more than to spend the holiday season with his wife and his kids. But when newcomer and mega Hawkeye fan Kate Bishop, introducing Hailee Steinfeld into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, gets herself tangled up with the demons of Clint's past. Clint's enemies that he made as the Ronin are now going after Kate Bishop, and Clint has to stay behind in New York to help Kate get herself out of this mess, take down a New York crime boss, and hopefully make it home in time for Christmas. Alright, so the very first thing that I liked about this Hawkeye series is coming off of Loki and WandaVision, heck, even coming off What If, the animated series that they did. Those shows went in such an out-of-this-world bonkers crazy with their ideas and concepts that when you get to Hawkeye, much like Falcon and Winter Soldier, it's nice and refreshing to get back to a grounded MCU story. And with how cosmic, interdimensional, multiverse the MCU is getting, and while I still very much enjoy the MCU today, sometimes when the movies get that crazy, simplicity is a nice way to go, and I really enjoyed the simplicity of Hawkeye. Hailee Steinfeld is a megastar in Hollywood right now. I first saw her in the Pitch Perfect movies, but I really took notice of her in Edge of 17. So to see her bring her talent into the MCU as Kate Bishop was a real joy, and she really did a great job as this character. I thought Hawkeye had a really hard-hitting opening when we see Kate Bishop as a little girl during the Tatari attack in the first Avengers movie, where she first sees Hawkeye for the first time, and you instantly understand why she's so fascinated and obsessed with him as a superhero. Because I'll be honest, when I think of the Avengers, I think of Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, even Black Widow. But not so much Hawkeye. He kind of slips my mind every once in a while. But if I was a little kid and I saw Hawkeye taking on a bunch of these aliens, yeah, he probably would have become my favorite Avenger. And once you get Kate and Clint together in this show, that's where the synergy really starts to take off. I thought Jeremy Renner and Hailee Steinfeld had fantastic chemistry throughout this series. And Hawkeye is more so focused on the story of Kate Bishop. This is really Kate Bishop's origin story into the MCU, and Hawkeye's just kind of there to assist her. But the mentor and apprentice relationship that these two developed throughout the running time of this season, they just became a really enjoyable duo to watch together. Sorry, my bad. Amazing trio to watch together. I ain't forgetting about Pizza Dog. You kidding me? MVP of the show right there. But to see Kate kind of chip away at the walls that Clint has built up around him and start to get vulnerable with him, there's some really sweet moments between Kate and Clint that happened throughout this season that I thought the series did a really good job building their relationship. And talking about Hawkeye himself, Clint Barton, played by Jeremy Renner, I really liked how they looked at the human side of Clint in this movie, because Clint Barton is not a super-powered being. He's just an ordinary guy who got caught up in this superhero world. And you see how all the superhero battles and stuff that he's been involved with the Avengers has started to take a toll on his body. His hearing isn't as strong as it used to be. He needs a hearing aid in order to hear things real clearly. And while I did like that look at Clint Barton in his humanity, kind of wish that we got a deeper dive into the look of Clint Barton's character throughout this season. The way they kind of look at the character, I have to admit, was kind of surface level, and I wish we had just gotten a little bit deeper. But if you're a big fan of the Hawkeye character, you do get well serviced with his character when it comes to the action sequences in the show. I thought the action in Hawkeye was probably the best action that the Disney Plus Marvel shows has had thus far. Having Kate and Clint team up for these action sequences makes for a great dynamic throughout them. I thought the choreography in these action sequences were great. They were shot beautifully. They were in frame. They were in camera. You could see what was going on. And there's some really creative action sequences in this season. There's a great car chase scene in episode 3 where we're inside the car with the characters, and the way that the camera spins around and moves around to show you the action that's going on, you feel like you're in the car with these characters. I thought it was handled great. And while the fight sequences never really feel like they have too many stakes, because for the most part, Clint and Kate are just fighting off henchmen that are just there to be bodies to get hit by Clint and Kate's arrows. But hey, I'm not throwing any shade on the Tracksuit Mafia. The Tracksuit Mafia as the foils to Kate and Clint, the henchmen of the main villain in the show, Echo. I thought these side characters were a lot of fun. It was fun to see them get beat down, but even the little times that we were spent with these characters, I just really enjoyed the little conversations that they had with each other. And the way that these characters just called everybody bro. I just thought it was funny. And while I found these things very enjoyable in Hawkeye, there were some things that didn't really work for me with this series. And going on with that point, I'm going to talk some major spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the show and you want to skip these spoilers, there's chapters down below. You can skip these few minutes. 3, 2, 1. I'm talking spoilers. Here we go. One of the reasons I felt like the show either should have been shorter to like 4 episodes or they should have done more within the 6 episodes is I felt the introductions of characters like Ilana and Kingpin, who they brought in from the Daredevil show, just felt kind of late. I feel like it would have benefited if they were introduced and came in sooner into the season to establish the threat that they are to Clint and Kate, just to give this season a more overall feeling of stakes. But even with the limited time that they have, it was really cool to see these characters come back. I haven't watched the Daredevil show on Netflix, but Ilana coming in, played by Florence Pugh once again from the Black Widow movie, I thought she did a really great job in the series with the time that she was given in it. I feel like she stole every frame that she was in. Ilana was once again a very funny, very fun, quirky character, and I really like the way that she played off of Haley Steinfeld's Kate Bishop. I feel like there's a great relationship developing there that could be the next Tony Stark and Steve Rogers moving forward in the MCU. And the way that Ilana is tracking down Clint because she believes that he is the one who killed her sister Natasha, I feel like they could have made that more thrilling and a little bit more intense if they had brought Ilana in, even maybe in like the 3rd episode of the show, established that her objective is to kill Clint, and then have a kind of cat and mouse chase going on throughout the rest of the episodes. I'm not a screenwriter though, so maybe that's not a good idea, but that's what I felt. I felt like that's what the show kind of needed in a way. Alright, spoilers over, but yeah, I feel like the story of Hawkeye could have been told a little bit tighter or at least filled out more. I feel like the stretching of the story throughout Hawkeye made the pacing of the show really drag at times. In the end, guys, I enjoyed Hawkeye. The shining light of the show for me was definitely the relationship and chemistry between Kate and Clint that developed throughout the show. Some fun action, some fun characters. But because the story did feel so stretched out and the pacing wasn't always the best, I don't think Hawkeye is a must-see. I feel like if you missed out on Hawkeye, you don't really miss much that's happening in the MCU at this point. It's not as important as I feel like a WandaVision and Loki are right now. I don't think that I would ever say to someone that they need to watch Hawkeye, that it's important that they watch Hawkeye to understand what's happening in the MCU. But if you have a few hours to kill and you want to sit down and watch the show, I think you'll have a pretty good time with it. And for that reason, I'll give Hawkeye a straightforward recommend. What did you guys think of Hawkeye? Have you had a chance to see it yet? Comment down below. Let me know. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions about this season. Once again, I want to thank all of you out there who voted for Hawkeye. Comment down below and tell me what you guys think of the voting poll. Would you like to see more polls and choices for you guys to vote on what I review or do next on the channel? Let me know down in the comment section below. As always, guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video and checking out my channel. If you're new here and you like talking TV, movies, and all things entertainment, why don't you go on and click that subscribe button, click that like button, click that notification bell, all that YouTube stuff. And I hope to talk to you guys again real soon.